When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hello everybody, my name is Jose from Man-Made Survival. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel and watching this video. I hope you share this information because this information is very important, and a lot of stuff has come out here in the past few days, which is, some of it is very devastating, some of it is pretty bizarre, and things just keep getting worse and worse. And I hope you share this information with your friends and loved ones, because the more information they have, the better choices they'll be able to make, and the better planning they will have for the things that are coming. You know, a lot of people are starting to see a lot of things happening. But before I go any further, I want to introduce to you my very first book that I've written, which is Preppers Secrete Cache. In this book, I share a lot of things, of course, about survival and things you can do. I also share why we started Man-Made Survival, and one of the things, or a list of things that I cover in the book, is Anarchy, artificial intelligence, asteroids, chemical war, earthquakes, food shortages, which is something we're going to talk about today. Government martial law is something that I'm also going to talk about in another video, but we're starting to see here in the United States. Even though they're not calling it martial law, they're doing exactly the same thing. Hurricane, nuclear war, civil unrest, tsunami, tornado, and water shortages. These are the list of things that you should be ready for. And I share a bunch of other stuff in the book also. So I encourage you to go get it, or, you know, encourage you to get it. You can go to www.preppersecretcache.com. You just fill out your information and we'll send it out to you as quickly as possible. I want to mention though, this book is free. All we need your help with is the shipping. So I encourage you to go to the website or click the link below and order your book as soon as you can. But now we're gonna move into the show, because this information is just crazy. But first, I'm gonna give you the number of cases here in the world, in the United States. The world coronavirus count is 446,000 infected with 19,786 dead. In the USA alone, there's 65,652 with 931 dead. In Italy, 74,386. Iran, 27,017. Spain, 47,610. In Germany, 37,323. France, 25,600. And those are the numbers that have been updated here in the last 12 hours. So maybe the number may be higher, I'm not sure, but that's what I got that is up to date. So, like I said, we were going to talk about food shortages. And here's the first headline. 9 meals from Anarchy. This is from Zero Hedge. In 1906, Alfred Henry Lewis stated, there are only 9 meals between mankind and anarchy. And 9 meals, that, you know, if you think about it, lunch, breakfast, and dinner, that's 2 days. All right, a lot of people say 3 days, but really it's 2 days. The key here is that unlike other commodities, food is the one essential that cannot be postponed. If there are shortages of, say, shoes, we could make do for months or even years. A shortage of gasoline would be worst, but we could survive it through mass transportation or even walking if necessary. But food is different. If there were an interruption in the food supply, fear would set in immediately, and if the resumption of the food supply were uncertain, the fear would become pronounced. After only 9 missed meals, it's not unlikely that we'd panic. It's not unlikely that we'd panic and be prepared to commit a crime to acquire food. If we were to see our neighbor with a loaf of bread and we owned a gun, we might well say, I'm sorry, you're a good neighbor and we've been friends for years, but my children have not eaten today. I have to have that bread, even if I have to shoot you. And that is something that we have seen throughout the United States and throughout the world. Here in the United States, there was a fight where people fought over, you know, the buggy being pushed or whatever. They broke wine bottles and they stabbed each other with it. We also saw in Italy, or somebody sent me a video of Italy of a lady getting stabbed because of the same reason, of over food. So the mentality is out there people are already thinking in ways that if they needed something, they would go to their neighbor house and raid it for the things that they needed. So right now there's law and order, but if there was any signal out there that was very clear for people, to the common people who do not look for information such as this, they will already be panicked. And here's one of those examples. Coronavirus. Kentucky couple throw a fit over not being able to buy 552 cans of Mountain Dew at Kroger. This from popculture.com. Just the headline, of course, it sounds funny. But what if it wasn't Mountain Dew they were trying to buy and it was milk or it was food? Here in the past few weeks, I noticed or I experienced one of those limits where the person behind me in the register, they were trying to get 2 gallons of milk and 2 cartons of eggs. The lady in the register, she took away one of the milks and one of the eggs and said that there was a limit of one of the items per customer. So she just took it off. And that's, in a sense, if you really think about it, there's a lot of ways to go around that, because if 2 people go in the same family, they just get in 2 different lines and buy what they need, right? But the point is that those measures are already in place, designed to keep people from panic buying. But even so, even if they did do that, the only thing that could come out of that is a lot of anger, and a lot of food riots could start over this, because people will feel like they don't have what they need, and if there's a limit, they're gonna find ways to get it, and if they can't, they will riot. The U.S. virus plan anticipates 18 months pandemic and widespread shortages. This from MSN.com. Washington. A federal government plan to combat the coronavirus warned policymakers last week that a pandemic will last 18 months or longer, and could include multiple waves, resulting in widespread shortages that would result in widespread shortages that would strain consumers and the nation's healthcare system. And it's something that we have seen lately. In New York, the Governor Cuomo, he asked the Federal Emergency Management Agency to send 4,000 ventilators, and they could only send 400. And it's something that we have seen, that the system is collapsing, and it's not that bad yet. All right, they're talking about there could be millions of people dying from this, and a lot more millions infected. And the system, with little pressure, is already collapsing. What would it look like if there were millions of people that would die from this? The 100-page plan, dated Friday, the same day President Trump declared national emergency, laid out a grim prognosis for the spread of the virus and outlined a response that would activate agencies across the government and potentially employ special presidential powers to mobilize the private sector. Shortages of products may occur, impacting healthcare, emergency services, and other elements of critical infrastructure, the plan warned. This includes potentially critical shortages of diagnostics, medical supplies, including PPE and pharmaceuticals, and staffing in some locations. PPE refers to personal protective equipment. The personal protective equipment already in the United States is starting to be an issue, where the doctors and the nurses do not have the proper equipment they need to be able to attend to patients and not get infected themselves. So hopefully, now that they're starting to ramp up production, they can get the essential personal protection they need for these doctors and nurses, because they're in the front lines of this. This article goes on to say, the spread and severity of COVID-19 will be difficult to forecast and characterize. The government plan said it warned of significant shortages for government, private sector, and individual U.S. consumers. And of course, they're gonna have to have a plan, and it's already in place. It's just they have announced it, but it's not enforced all the way through to where people don't freak out about it. But it's already in place. Breaking: federal government to control and oversee grocery distributions with government-private sector partnerships. Walmart, Costco, Target, Kroger, top grocery chains to be deemed critical infrastructure. The National Guard to protect key distribution points. This from naturalnews.com. The U.S. federal government is in the planning stage of implementing a plan to protect and control grocery distributions across the United States via public/private partnerships with top grocery chains such as Walmart, Kroger, H-E-B, which is in Texas, Target, Costco, etc. High-level sources now tell Natural News. The effort is being made to ensure the smooth delivery of food supplies to the public as a coronavirus lockdown is about to commence on a regional basis, and food supplies are necessary to prevent social unrest, lawlessness, and looting, which is something that I was talking about earlier. When these people will no longer be able to get the food that they feel they need, and they see that there's no way around getting it, they will start to riot. Grocery chains will be declared via executive order critical infrastructure. The wording may be slightly different, such as essential infrastructure, so that the executive branch of the federal government grants itself the justification to oversee food distribution and food securities for the nation. This in conjecture on our part. This is conjecture on our part, but we believe this same executive order will also designate long-haul trucking a similar critical infrastructure and will likely prioritize trucking transport operations to keep the food, fuel, medicine, and other supplies flowing. Obviously, without nationwide trucking, the grocery stores will run out of food in mere hours, and we are now seeing almost everywhere. The plan will involve National Guard troops showing a presence at grocery stores parking lot, which will serve as distribution points. They will be giving ROE, rules of engagement, orders to actively engage anyone who initiates violence or who attempts to steal food. There will be leader to no tolerance for threats to food distributors' points, grocery stores, or food trucking operations. The National Guard will be ordered to begin protecting food distribution hubs and truck routes on the highways to ensure the food trucks arrive safely at grocery stores across America. The president is reportedly about to meet with trucking union leaders and trucking organizers to finalize the structure of this plan, which may include an escort vehicle to shadow the truck and ensure security. All right. I know all that sounds really, really good. And it does, because they need to be protected, because they need to be able to get to the destination to where we can go over there and buy what we need. But it just shows how the government is preparing for things to get really, really bad, which is good. Don't get me wrong. It is good. You know, it's better than not to prepare and then drop the ball and then we have chaos everywhere. But it also shows how things can go really far, really bad, and people rioting because they cannot get the essentials they need. So this is why we say you need food preps and water preps in place in order for you to be able to deal with any kind of emergency. Right now, it's too late. It's way too late, because now there's limits on what you can buy. So there no longer you'll be able to stock up on things. All right. You have to go, if it's Walmart, then you have to just go in and out, in and out, in and out, until they probably eventually say something to you, because they'll say, I've seen you here, 5 minutes ago. Or if you go to a place like Walmart or Costco that they need, a membership card, they'll be able to limit you, because they'll say you have to wait 24 hours before you can come back. And then that's how riots will start. And that's how people will get very, very angry, because they'll start using terms like, this is not communist China, or this is not, socialist Bernie, or whatever. The point is that people can get angry very quickly. And I've seen that myself at the store. All right. People getting very angry because they cannot buy the things that they need. And the limits that they have on people, it's something that is not feasible for people who have a large family. I know of one lady that goes to church with me. She has 6 kids. And then it's her and her husband. All right. That's 8 people. 1 gallon of milk will not feed 6 kids. All right, so they're gonna have to, play the system and go in back and forth until they have everything they need. But the point is that when they have a stop to it, and let's say they do a drive up to it, and they give you a already sorted, or a kit of that food, and you can't get any more, that's when the problem will start. And even though it doesn't seem like it's headed that way right now, it could very potentially be, because there's other countries talking about not trading with the United States anymore because they feel like their people need the food. All right. But anyways, I'll leave you with this to think about, because this is very important. If we get out of this, we will. But let's say it doesn't get that bad, the government is able to control it, and things get back to normal. That will be your opportunity to be able to have your stock in place for food and water and everything else before disaster strikes again. Because there's a lot of people that try to prepare at the last minute, and they find out that they cannot do it any longer. Like these people, even though they were fighting over Mountain Dew, the next thing they could be fighting over is food and water and other essentials that they feel they need, like medicine. But anyways, I want to remind you one more time, preppersecretcache.com or www.preppersecretcache.com to be able to order the book, or click the link below, fill out your information, and we'll send it out to you as quickly as possible. But anyways, again, my name is Jose Pro Amendment Survival, always ready.
The Man-Made Survival Show.